Hey, what's up? So my number 27 subscriber asked me to go into specific detail about my remote viewing technique and I guess what I did to start being able to remote view. At this point, I feel like I've gotten so many upgrades that remote viewing is just like, it just happens automatically now. Like, it doesn't even take that long for me to start seeing stuff now. Probably like a minute or whatever. I do see this one ET all the time, like really fast, and I see him like everywhere. But I guess the way that I started remote viewing was I started looking at like the different colors that I would see when I closed my eyes. Like right now I could see like blues, purples, oranges, yellows, a little bit of green, but I would focus on that. And the blue, my aura is blue, and the blue really started to shine through like really strongly, and I started focusing on that, and then eventually it started like kind of like waving in and out. Like it would go like this blue light would kind of like in my third eye would look like a wave, and I kept focusing on that, and eventually that started turning into like shapes, and then I started focusing on those shapes, and while also like getting in this the whole time, I started out meditating on my back really, and I started meditating out on my back, and that would start happening. Started focusing on shapes, and then eventually it turned into like seeing faces and different like symbols, different ETs and stuff. And I remember early on in my remote viewing, I was connecting with this one ET that looked like a human, but she looked like this like super beautiful woman with like dark black hair, but she was also very blue, and I'm really not sure what that connection was. Another part about it is definitely asking those higher dimensional beings to give you upgrades and doing CE5 meditation. I can give you a really short rundown of like how to do that. So like if you're on your back, you're laying down. I like to start off by starting with my feet, getting super relaxed, and like on every exhale you feel your feet relaxed, and on the next exhale you feel like your shins and your calves getting super relaxed, and you feel that energy, that relaxation energy draining out through the bottom of your feet and connecting with the earth. And like if you don't feel it, quote unquote, you just imagine it, and then eventually you'll start feeling it. And then you move up, all the way up into your head and then to your face. And then once you're in that state, you breathe and just get more and more relaxed for a little bit. And then you come out of your body, and like, again, you come out of your body by imagining you're outside of your body. And you're like looking at yourself on the bed from the top down. Like you're looking at yourself with your eyes closed, or picturing it or imagining it. And just really quick, like to even have the ability to do that, I feel like is you're actually like some part of your consciousness is actually outside of your body, because like to have the ability to do that, that's like looking through the eyes of Source, or looking through the eyes of other higher dimensional beings that are around you, you know. So you connect with that. And while you're in this sense of relaxation, you love this sense of relaxation. You love the feeling of looking at yourself. And then you start zooming out farther and farther and farther, like out through the top of the roof of your house. And then you eventually see like the city lights, or like the landscape that you're around, and then farther and farther. And then you can see like North America if you're in America. And then farther and farther you see the globe. See the moon, then you see the sun, and see like where Earth is in relation to the sun. Then you zoom out even farther, and then you can see eventually the whole galaxy. and you see like where Earth's location is. And then I like going to the central sun of the galaxy just because it's like that's the big energy source, or the big gravitational force that connects all of the different star systems together in our galaxy. And then once you're there, you ask those divine beings that are already there, because there's millions and millions of them there all the time, you know. So you connect with that angelic and love source energy, that pure light, white light, and you ask those types of beings, those celestial and angelic beings, to come back with you. And then you fly back in, like doing that process like I was just saying, but in reverse, and you show them exactly what like location you're at, but also like I think it really has to do with your own frequency and your own like space-time, based on your own frequency and like the frequency around you and stuff, and like even the timeline that you're on. Like these beings aren't from one timeline, you know, so it's kind of weird to think about that. But yeah, you ask them to come back and show you things and give you upgrades and raise your brain's frequency and your third eye's frequency. And it's honestly, when they start doing upgrades, it feels amazing. And this is essential to expanding the human brain and human consciousness and being able to remote view really easily. But I've felt before, it feels like they like put something on my eye, or like it feels almost like a wand. Oh, that was another thing that helped me start remote viewing too. It was like I saw this light, but then I would like imagine this light, and it would like have my eyes closed, and then I would imagine this light, like, and I would consciously try and move this light in like a square or like a circle around the edge of my vision, and then even through the center sometimes, and then back, and then like up and down, and then like make it a whole bar, and then like wave up and down. And what this does, I think it's like it clears that conscious part of you, or it clears your third eye in some way. But I started doing that because these ETs, I could feel it felt like a wand that they were putting over my head, like one of those Scanar things that Emery talks about, or like from Star Trek, those scanner things that they use in the med bay. It felt like that, but invisible in like a higher dimension, and they put it over my head, and it felt like this really like tingling, warm, like amazing sensation going into my brain. And I've felt them touch, like literally touch my head before, and it's, people think that they go in and like do this whole like cellular reconstruction thing, but I really think that it's really frequency. And if your cells can bring on that frequency, then the cells start changing themselves. And I mean, I don't really know how way higher dimensional physics works, but it feels like more of frequency upgrades rather than physical changes. But that's also not true, because I've had physical changes before. Like my teeth have honestly grown in like the past like 5 years or whatever, and it feels like my eyes have also grown. Like, not, and I've talked about this in another video, they might have grown like this way and this way a little, like just a smidge, but it feels like the cornea or whatever has grown like outwardly, like toward, like that way. But yeah, those upgrades are definitely essential for remote viewing. What else? Crystals. Like, I remember the very first crystal that I got was a labradorite, and this guy gave it to me because I was going through like a dark period, and I've told you guys about some stuff that I've gone through, and it's always like you fight your demons, you know, and you gotta silence those demons eventually, and you do that by finding the moment and always going back to the moment and starving those lower vibrations and lower thoughts. But he gave me this labradorite because it's supposed to transmute like lower energy into higher energy. And I love that thing. The first night that he gave it to me, it was the first crystal I ever got. I slept with it in my hand, and the next morning I woke up and it felt like this huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. And then eventually I was like, wait, I bet this would do something if I started meditating with it on my back, like on my forehead, because it was like about this big. And I started doing that, and again, I did the CE5, and the ETs came in, and the ETs loved that. Like, I could tell that they definitely keyed off of that stone and helped, or it like assisted them in upgrades that they wanted to give me. Like, and it felt like the stone at some points would like sink into my forehead and like melt into it almost. So definitely like get a labradorite and try that out. There might be another stone that is more receptive to your own frequency. That one was really good for me. Yeah, I think labradorite is supposed to help with things like that. With it's like an amplification of the third eye and like of like other senses, you know, like otherworldly senses. So yeah, try that out. But yeah, that's about it. Again, like staying grounded really helps too. Like if you have your bottom two chakras filled up, and I've explained how to do that in my chakra videos, but like filling your root up and connecting with the center of the earth. And that's another thing that you might want to do before the whole CE5 like zooming out thing, is like go into the center of the earth, or imagine your like light body is leaving and going into the earth and connecting with the source of Gaia's energy, you know, like the pure love that Gaia wants to give you. Because when you're in that like balanced state, like Gaia can overpower your consciousness and really, really balance you out. And when you're in that state, it's easier to remote view without responding or reacting to things that you're seeing. And that's really the key to seeing longer visions and going deeper and deeper into remote viewing, is like, if you can take your mind out of it. I know it's really hard to do, but once you get it, and listening to sound while you're remote viewing really helps, for me at least. But if you're reacting to things that you're seeing, you're gonna come back in your being, because it makes you go into ego mode instead of like unity mode, which unity mode is like no thought and just like perception, right? Like you're seeing but not analyzing, and that's a hard part, or a hard thing to do, but again, it just takes practice. But yeah, okay, I think that's it. But give me a thumbs up, guys. Peace.